You just have to make sure that you're in a good staging position, because your staging is already free because you're holding, and then you can just focus on killing the enemy squishies, if that makes sense.
Yep. So, I mean, the only thing that's specific to the retake is that first step, where everything else kind of stays. So where you're holding a position and then looking for an engage. Okay.
All right. So let's look into this. Like, your main heroes recently have been like Zarya, right? Zarya, maybe.
Yeah, I'm starting to expand away from Zarya though. Zarya is becoming kind of a crutch hero for me, and I feel like it's holding me back a bit.
Zarya is like a noob stomper hero, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I feel like if you're like good at Zarya, you can easily get into like master low GM, you know? Like, a lot of people ban Zarya as well in the lower ranks, because she's just like such a server admin hero when it's like kind of easy to play, you know? Like, when Zarya gets the space, she kind of does a lot. But okay, so you're gonna play D.Va on this one.
I start D.Va. I think most of this game I spend on Orisa though.
Okay.
I can't remember. I might even throw like a tiny bit of Ramatra in there. But I definitely was struggling this game. I don't think that the heroes were necessarily the problem. They might have been. I'm open to that criticism. But I started on D.Va. My brain was thinking kind of, okay, there's a bit of high ground. I can challenge the high ground a little bit easier on D.Va. Particularly second point with the castle.
Yeah, second point is really good for like any sort of dive tank. But like right now I mean, there's gonna be a patch soon, right, on Tuesday. So maybe it's like not too important, you know. Right now, like how you usually like have like icon, like the first and the third point are really good for grounded tanks. The second point is good for like any sort of dive tank, you know. D.Va, Winston, Wrecking Ball, you know, all of those heroes, maybe even Hazard, really strong for second point. But a lot of the time people commit to like a ground tank because it's just the second point, you know. So if the ground tank is kind of playable, like an Orisa, then people just commit to the Orisa for all 3 points. But I mean, D.Va's not bad either, you know, so don't get me wrong. What's kind of your mindset on D.Va? Like, just in general, like we're not even like gonna consider the map, the point, the matchup, anything. What's kind of your mindset?
A lot of it is just to deny value in my mind. DM is like one of the most unique parts of her kit, and it allows you to absorb a lot of the projectiles that would otherwise either do damage to you or your team, or obviously things like ultimates, you know, your Alari ults, the blizzards from May, that kind of stuff. That's what comes to my mind immediately.
How I see tank, okay? How I see tank in general, it's like you're a 2 value character, okay? So I always give it like, I give like heroes a value, okay? So I would give like the main support-ish hero, you know, the second support-ish hero, I would give it a 1 value in my calculations. Then like the hero that heals more, the flex support role, has a bit more, so 1.5. I would give it. Then DPS 1, and tank is 2. You know, same for the enemy comp. But that means you are 2. Okay, that means you are very important. Okay, you're playing tank in Overwatch 2 in a 5v5 scenario. That means you are the server admin hero. Okay, you're gonna take over all of these games. What does it mean? It's valuable for you to be 2. That means your life is really important, okay? But I don't want you to focus as much on your life. So the important part for you is to get kills onto backliners, okay? Like, what you want to do is you want to focus these like 4 heroes, okay? Sometimes you can focus Sigma if it's a kill. Like, if a tank is a kill, it's always nice to kill the tank, right? Because it's like we said, it's a 2 value, the tank. But you shouldn't get tunnel vision to it. It's way easier to kill the squishy heroes, right? They're low HP, all of that good stuff. You can really easily get one shots on them. Especially D.Va was like these like matchups are really good because you can eat the cleanse, you can eat all of the Ana CDs, you can really easily hit one shots onto the Junkrat especially, but also onto the soldier, you know. So your job mostly is to shut down squishy characters, okay? That's what you should do. You should not focus too much on the tank trade. The issue is what a lot of lower level tanks have is that they're always gonna play the main lane. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever like played League of Legends, but
Yeah,
there's usually like, yeah, okay, so that's
Very
perfect
familiar,
because a lot of Overwatch maps are designed with 3 lanes. Okay, so
Okay.
maybe the first point icon is like not that prevalent for this, but okay. We have here 1 lane, okay? This is the main lane. Then we have like a side lane right here. And then we have another side lane, okay? Like bottom, top lane, all of that jazz, right?
Yeah.
So the same for like every other point. And then you're gonna have like some sort of like jungle connector positions. You know what I mean? So like this could be like a jungle flank. This could be like a jungle flank. Then you have like here like kind of a jungle position. You know, all of these like soft flanks, even like here down here at the bottom of my screen. So what I want you to focus on as tank is to sometimes you're gonna have to play the main lane because there's nothing to do, right? Mostly I want you to focus on controlling side lanes and finding these like jungle flanks, soft flanks. You don't want a hard flank as tank, but I want you to find these like soft flanks to get value onto backliners when you're like sneaky unscouted, you know? Like I want you to get value onto backline. That should be your main goal. Main trading should be like the least of your worries. Okay, so let's have a little look right here. You're gonna control this side. We're just gonna control top. Actually, pretty good positioning. We're just gonna chill.
You guys swing a little left here in a minute and get blown up for it, but
okay, yeah, okay, you get instantly fucked.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Okay, you have to sometimes consider what poke is important and what not. Okay, like tank always works off of cycle-based gaming. Okay, really cycle-based gaming. So here, what you have to do, what your job is as tank, is to chill till you get a good engage. Okay, what does chill till you get a good engage mean? It means preserving your HP. Okay, we don't want our supports to have to heal us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our supports can get so much more value if they're not healing us, right? Like this guy, our Ana, he can look for nades, he can look for sleeps, he can look for damage himself. Our Mercy can damage boost like our angles, you know, our DPS, all of that good stuff. So the least time you spend needing to be healed, it's really big value for you. So that's like something important. Like you have to like recognize when is poking good for you and when it's not. Okay, so like this poke right here that you provide here onto the DPS, it genuinely gets 0 value. You know what I mean? Because you're just shooting backline. How much damage you're doing? 30 damage onto soldier. You know what I mean? It doesn't change. It doesn't change anything in the fight. And you're gonna invest your micro missiles as well for like this poke. It doesn't do anything. Unironically, if you have good mechanics, you can kill this guy right here.
Right,
he does a big mistake, you know? If you have your one-shot combo, your missile, your booster, left click, melee, he's actually dead. He's genuinely dead, you know? Like a high-level diva would just one-shot this guy out of the sky after he invests like 1 mine to come up. And then the rest of it is just like, we take too much damage, you try to retreat into the main angle, when the main angle takes you too much damage as well, you know? If you feel like you have to retreat, go into one of these side angles, you know? Nobody can push you here. You're like tank server admin, you know? If the junk pushes you, he will die. As long as you use here like matrix mechanics, micro missile mechanics, well, he will die.
Makes sense.
So here, I mean, we're gonna go down. Like, okay, we're actually getting rest. Let's fucking get it.
Yeah, the Mercy was actually pretty solid.
Love to be rest. So let's say this. Remake damage onto Sigma. Now we need to focus on squishies. We need to look for some value. So you're gonna shift back. Usually back shifting in this game is really bad, okay? Like going back. Yeah, you're giving space, and the thing is like, if you think about like the tempo of the game, right? If they have 5 characters, right? They have 5 characters, we have 5 characters. If they use a turn, like how we like to call it in like pro play, if they use a turn right here, and you guys go back, you guys just send your gang backwards, it's just gonna give infinite space, you know. If you don't, like, they're gonna get more opportunities. They have more of a poke comp as well with the Sigma, so they're gonna get more opportunities. They're gonna take more space off the map. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
it's just gonna do more. They're gonna if you guys don't get kills on the back shift, it's just gonna fuck you. Like,
right, because you're just giving up the space for them to move
yeah,
it through.
you're just getting, like, you eventually, even if no character dies here, they're just gonna cap point eventually, you know. So usually when they gonna go for a turn, for a swing, for a CD trade, you have to look for something to get value.
That makes sense.
So right here, when you go here for this back shift, I would like you more to take the side angle with your Ana.
Right, go over to the Ana rather than going up to high ground. I think my thinking was to move out of the LOS of the 5, stay in the LOS of the Ana, but then you're right, like, in hindsight, getting away from the Ana was stupid, but...
yeah, it's not even about getting away from your Ana. You know, it's not even about getting away from your Ana. First, it's giving away this space and giving away your staging position to get kills. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because here, if you backshift here, you backshift towards here, that means you have to make another move to get into this position, to get close, to get kills onto these characters. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
but if you're in this position, like here, you're here already, you're already staged. You know what I mean? You're already staged here, and then you can take out these characters with one shift. You know, you can go through here, you can just connect onto these characters. So here you see what your Ana is doing. Your Ana is playing really well. She's gonna do like the close angle. But if you're here, you're killing this Ana. By the way, you know, like he just invested nade, so you only have the sleep. Like, he also invested sleep. Like, honestly, you're killing a double backline here if you properly convert your mechanics. Also, the issue of backshifting is you backshift here and you take poke. Now you have to use another shift to commit into a staging position, and now you are 300 HP. You know what I mean? And now when you're 300 HP, you're noticing at yourself you actually cannot do anything.
Right.
Nothing to do for you. Yeah, you're just cooked. And now we couldn't get the value we wanted to get. So here they get the first point. That's alright. We're gonna use some magics to help our guy out. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Micro missile, it's okay. Maybe not too useful, but it's not too important, you know. Sometimes it's like
this part of the fight anyway.
Yeah. It's like alright. Yeah, the chunk is close. Okay, we're gonna break his trap. Let's check what we do next.
Even like as we're watching this, I'm definitely noticing the micro missile spam. Like just using it.
Yeah. You should just use them close range, you know, to confirm a kill. Like, these micro missiles are really good. But here, what I can already give you for another advice, another point of advice here, right here when you're here, like, you want to get close to them, right? So there's like rules of the game, okay? There's like rules of the game you can consider. When you have to retake, right now you're retaking, right? So if you have to retake, what you have to do, you have like 3 rules or like 3 stuff to follow. So number 1 is you have to clear some sort of pre-fight positions if they're snowballing, right? So you have to clear / count the players on your screen. Okay, in Overwatch 2 it's really easy to track every character because they have only 5 characters, right? If you walk down main and you see, for example, you see 4 characters here, that means Sigma is missing somewhere. Maybe you can ignore him, maybe you clear him, something like that. But sometimes you can also you see like a junk missing here. Then you know, like, a lot of high level junks in this situation are gonna try to like take this advantage of the snowball and they're gonna try to flank. Maybe you can catch him. Stuff like that. So you want a clear position / like count players so you can actually predict their position, you know. Then the second play that you have to do on the retake is you have to stage. Okay, you have to stage your position. That's what you don't have to do when you actually have space and you're holding position, you know. Like on this first point what we discussed here, when you were here or when you were here, you already have the staging position to set up for a kill.
We are
that
staged.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then the third part is to just kill the enemy. Okay, kill the enemy. Focus on the squishy characters like the backliners focus on the squishies and not the tank. So those are your rules, and the same rules you have for your hold, except you are instantly skipping the number 1 and the number 2 part. You just have to make sure that you're in a good staging position, because your staging is already free because you're holding, and then you can just focus on killing the enemy squishies, if that makes sense.
Yep. So I mean, the only thing that's specific to the retake is that first step, where everything else kind of stays. So where you're holding a position and then looking for
exactly. Okay. You have to use on your retake. You have to try to counter enemies, see if there's any flanks happening, clear out the flanks, and then you have to stage. Okay. So here we have to invest some resource, some turn to look for a staging. So here you're clearing the Sigma, right? So you're doing the one step. You're kind of clearing the junk. You're giving him pressure. So what you can do next is you can shift here and then set up for your next staging. Booster is on like a 4-second CD. So you would do this, you would do this. Okay, we're gonna matrix here. Our Ana is gonna find a kill. Very nice from our Ana. But here you see you're kind of involved into the tank trade. Yeah. But the issue is you're involved into a tank trade, so you lose all of your HP, and you're not like effectively staging. What's also important to you when you like struggle getting healed in all of these positions, how can we avoid not getting healed? It's very important. You as tank, you have to play a line with your backline. Okay, so you as tank, you have this like backline LOS of like a stable backline, like an Ana, like a Baptiste, even a Kiriko, and also your hit scan for suppressing fire. Okay. So here, for example, this position is good. There's multiple reasons why this position is good. This position is good because it gives you a close staging spot to go on their backline without investing your CD. So high ground is good, and like high ground / close corners you want to play because they give you options, right? So here you can it's not about the angle necessarily, but it's about you being able to engage without having to use your jump CD. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So here you can basically just drop down, fish for a kill, drop down, left click, micro missile, melee, and then you can see how the game feels if you want to commit your booster to finish up a kill, or if you feel like, okay, I just committed some pressure on the backline, I'm gonna keep my HP, I'm gonna preserve my life, and I'm gonna shift back to my original staging position. So that's why high ground close corners are good, and why this staging spot is also good, because we just talked about playing in your backline LOS. So what you have to do in those situations is you have to check your backline. Okay, you check your backline position. Where's my backline playing? 9 times out of 10 on this second point icon, your backline will play somewhere around here. You see, like your Ashe is already peeking here. So that means they have like I like to call this like a CCTV position for you, like a camera position that is just pocketing you. You know, anything that wants to push you in these positions will get shot by your backline, and you will get healed.
That makes sense.
So here, okay. Because here we're gonna engage this trade on the Sigma. We're gonna get rocked. You're gonna go up here. Okay, we're gonna chill. You're low HP, so you're scared. Realistically, maybe you could have stayed up. Maybe it's a bit scary, you know. So, but the Sigma's gonna shift, gonna shift, disengage. But here, you realistically cannot get healed. Now your job is to like take a health pack and then get back into a good staging position. Here, you're actually taking like what we like call the jungle. You know, you go to like jungle. You can like look to get a kill. Like here, you actually can kill the junk. By the way,
I don't have
you
enough.
You need to. I mean, now you're almost close to full HP. Yeah. You can actually kill this junk. Like I feel like a lot of the time you don't know how much of a threat you are. Do you know what I mean? Like you are more of a threat than you think you are. Like here, this junk, he just dies. He just dies. If you just walk into him, then instead of missiling now, you walk closer to him, your matrix is like his disengage. The good thing about D.Va versus Junk is that you can just like his mines give him the disengage, right? And you can just eat his jumps, you know what I mean? His mines are his disengage. You can just walk close to him, you can press magics, get into a good corner, break this corner, and you will just kill him, you know? If you know how to convert your mechanics, how to convert your movement, how to convert your spacing towards enemies, this is a kill for sure. This is a kill.
Okay, I was kind of wondering that in the back of my mind.
Yeah, because it's such a kill, because you're gonna Magix his disengage jump, and you're gonna Magix every heal he gets, you know? You're gonna Magix the Kiriko cards, you're gonna Magix all of the Ana CDs if he gets pocket, you're gonna Magix the cleanse. If you have like good mechanics right there and you know the healing is gonna come out, then what you're just gonna do is you're gonna shoot a bit mouse 1, and then you're gonna use Magix and micro missiles at the same time to deal damage while you're denying heals, and then you can even finish it off with like a melee booster combo, you know? And everything of those abilities you can use while using Matrix and blocking heals.
That makes sense.
And you're still dealing damage.
Yep.
So here, now you're in a staging position again. What you have to consider in your staging positions, okay, is your poke is not valuable. No. You know?
Not yet.
Here you're doing,
especially. Yep.
Because what does this poking do realistically? You know,
more for
this
them
poking,
than me. Yeah.
yeah, it does more for them to you, but it also gives away your position. Okay, when you're playing like a one-shotty tank, like D.Va, even like Orisa, where you have to get these burst timings with your mouse 1, with your spear, like with your micro missile engage. Here you're giving away your position, and you're basically telling your soldier, hey, and you're telling the soldier, hey, I'm coming from here, you know, be ready that I'm engaging. But if you're not giving away your position, you can hit one-shots on him, and also you can more consistently hit one-shots if, like here, you're almost like playing the main lane, you know, of like League of Legends. If you find these side flanks, it's gonna be so much easier for you to get kills. Why? Because they're not gonna look at you,
right,
you know?
Nobody.
Yes, exactly. You're unexpected coming in from a side angle, and you can just fish for one. Just pick anyone, you know. Like I generally don't care too much about like your target priority. I just want you to kill a squishy. That's really all I want you to do.
Makes sense.
Okay. So here. Oh, this is good. If you can, like here, I feel like again. Like when I was watching like Doom VOD that apply gave to you, right?
Yeah.
What I was seeing, you thought a lot about distraction plays, about taking attention, okay? But you have to value more that you're actually a killing machine. Gaming, you're a killing machine, okay? You can one shot and kill these players, or if you can't kill them, you need to at least deal a lot of damage, you know?
Yeah, I'm tracking with you.
So right here, it can be a kill, honestly. You have a good isolation, you have a boop in, you still have micro missiles, you're in close range, everything perfect for a kill. So here your Ana's gonna convert, find a nade sleep timing. Here you can do better dodging this rock, but there's like slight mechanics, you know. I don't really like to like fully coach mechanics, because it's kind of up to you as a player. Sometimes you're gonna hit like the nice movement, the nice outplay, sometimes you're not, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, also we can like there's actually like some slight stuff you can do better. So here, like a rock is inevitable to come in, right? It's very predictable that a rock is gonna come. So there's two important things when you know a CC is gonna stop you, okay? Like a brick whip, like a Lucio boop, like a rock. All of this important stuff is you have to focus on dodging it, or you have to focus taking the CD before using your mobility skill. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
So
yeah,
so here, if you
before you burn yours.
so your number one priority is to try to dodge the rock, okay? What you can do to dodge rock, for example as D.Va, is you can go here, you can bait him that you're gonna be here, and then you're gonna fly up. Very hard for this Sigma in this close range, if you fly into the skybox to hit the rock, to flick up, you know? It's very like a skill check for him. But if you're not gonna try too hard to dodge the rock, at least just tank the rock, and then you have your booster after to save it. So that's something you can do in this mechanic trade. Then you're gonna walk up here, you're gonna walk up here. Here again, you can save the missiles for your actual chase, so your close range, you know. Then here you're gonna convert kill. Okay. Here what you can do, you don't want to take damage on your remake, right?
Right.
So your important stuff to not take damage on your remake is to take some sort of cover. Okay. So there's some options here. You're in a bit of like a predicament right here. You know.
Right, because I'm sandwiched.
You're in a bit of a predicament, but there's a bit you can do. Okay. So maybe you can tuck in towards this corner, or if you're really on top of your game, you can jump here and then jump down. And then remake behind this corner, then your remake is gonna end up with full HP, you know. And then once you're full HP, what we said, it's so important for you to have full HP, or as close as full HP as possible, you know. So now when you get this remake, you're like fucked already, you know. Like we're kind of fucked. Okay, now we're gonna go over to Ramatra. Ramatra has a very good individual, like 1v1 potential versus Sigma, but to be honest, this retake is fucked, you know? Like,
yeah, we don't retake.
Okay, here, important to check your backline. Your backline is still respawning, you know? So it's a bit scary for you to play this. As tank, always important, like I said, these like slight flank angles, but also corners, you know. So here you have a really nice corner while you're waiting for your guys to respawn. Of course, these corners are also really good, you know, but sometimes when it's higher risk and you guys are not set up yet because you're respawning. If all of your guys had a close respawn, this corner is really nice, you know, because like you have this like backline double angle pressure, you know. If they push you, what you're gonna do in those situations is you're not gonna go back, okay? You're gonna try to tuck into the corners. Okay, because if you go back, it's actually gonna put you in a riskier position if you think about it. Because what we see here, if you, for example, on one of these close corners, if you tuck into the corners, what the enemy has to do is they have to swing onto you. Do you know what I mean? They have to turn a corner to swing onto you. While they turn a corner, first of all, you get a really nice situation to deal damage and to convert kills because they're walking close to you, or your backline LOS has full LOS on you in the crossfire, you know. You're basically creating an angle. But if you have this position and then you just go back, first of all, you're going into the enemy LOS, right? If you go into the enemy LOS, you're gonna get shot. Getting shot is not nice.
No,
and
not
also you're not creating a double angle, right? We're in the same position where we're going back and we're in a 5v5 situation, no angles.
That all makes sense.
So let's see what you do right here. Your backline is almost back. Okay, nice. We're gonna use our shield. We're gonna walk up. Yeah, really nice. Really good Nemesis form. You're gonna walk up and we get some good trades. Now, really important for you to not get traded. Sometimes you can, like I always said, your HP is really important as tank. So you can whiff in some blocks right here, you know, because your punch has like a slight cooldown. So sometimes when you're approaching somebody like a Sigma, here like his orbs are like on a 2 burst. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So here you're gonna walk.
That and then
hit, exactly. You can punch, 2 bursts, block, punch, 2 bursts, you know what I mean? Like punch, block, and you're gonna basically deny all of his damage. So that's something that you can weave into your gameplay. What I also want you to try to do more as Ram, I want you to use your cooldowns more mindful, okay? So your slow is actually really good ability. Like this slow does not get much value. That shield does not get much value. You can get more value on all of these cooldowns. Okay, so nice, you're gonna be here. Nice, we're just gonna fuck this guy up. We're just gonna mess him up. We're gonna walk it in. Very nice from you. Very nice. You don't have to invest extra CD. Really fine to get slapped here, you know.
Yeah,
you can put the shield. You can put the shield for yourself as well if you want. Like, sometimes you have to realize your cooldowns are very important. Okay, but when you're already winning the fight, you can use cooldowns to secure fight. Okay, you have a really big advantage right here. I would not hate if after you get slapped, you just put your shield up and keep shooting the backline. Like, you don't have to overthink. Yeah, go on.
No, I see it. No, I was acknowledging.
Yeah, because because your CDs are very valuable, right? But when you're already winning the fight, you're gonna get your CDs back before the next real fight happens.
So you may as well use them. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, you're skilling the good perk. That's what I like to see. Here, if you noticed, some of your backliners got traded, so it's probably time again to take this like more defensive position. Wait for our backliners to come back. So here again, you can greet this shield, you can greet the slow, you can still wait, you know, because we want to use the cooldowns once the fight begins. But actually, you don't get too bad of a trade. Really okay. Okay, we're gonna punch the Sigma. We're gonna walk up. Now you want a wide swing with your shield slow. Okay, really nice value you're getting right here. But what I want you to do more is the same as Diva, okay? Like when we were spectating that like possible kill on the junk, it's literally the same. What you want to do is you want to close distance into a sideline where you can follow up onto your CD, onto your mouse one. So what I like to do a lot as Ram is I like to close distance before I use my shield and my slow. So here you could cross this corner just by movement, right? You can walk like these 2 meters, and then your shield slow, you put down the shield here, your slow, it's gonna get so much value. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, yeah. So here you hit some nice mouse one. You're nanoed up. You almost have a form. Really don't think no need to really be scared. Now you're up 1 with this res, so looking good. You skill the slow that explodes, right? It's that perk, right?
Yeah,
it's for sure the right perk. The healing slow is really bad. So you're for sure skilling the right rum perks. So that's good to see.
Is there ever a scenario where you'd want to use the shield perk? The minder perk.
I don't think. I
was gonna say I've not really thought that. But
it's kind of ass. It just does nothing. If it would give you like more HP on the shield, it could maybe be okay. But
oh, that's true. It
but
just
your
makes it
shield,
bigger. Yeah.
but your shield gets broken like not that often as Ram. You know, like because you have 1k shield, most of the time your shield runs out. You know,
right,
before it gets broken. So it's actually not that important. So here again, if we use our CDs fully mindful, you can get more value out of these CDs, but it's not bad value. Yeah, it's time to Ramult. Nice. You're gonna get fluxed. We should be okay. We're just gonna hold our block. We're gonna keep getting healed by our team. This is like a slide movement stuff where you can tug a bit more towards the corner, like towards the payload cover, you know, instead of peeking. You could have played this LOS more so you avoid any CC, but to be honest, it's not too bad, you know, like we're starting to get like a bit nitpicky.
Sure.
What you also want to do in those situations, when you use your form for mobility right here to go out of spawn fast, as soon as you're there where you want, just cancel it so your CD starts again. That's a minor thing you can do. So right now you know that you have time to contest card, and you know that you want to form. You have 5 seconds left on your form. Instead of just letting it run out manually, you can just cancel it.
That way it restarts the cooldown. That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. It just restarts if you cancel it, so you're gonna get your cooldown back in time. Okay, nice. You got the point on lock. Because if you look at this, like actually gaming, this would have made a difference right here. If you cancel it at 5 seconds, you see, like right here, where I was saying it would have been a good timing to cancel it. It's
back up about here.
It's gonna be back up now, and then you're gonna form, and you're gonna block, and you're gonna stay alive. And I actually don't think you're gonna give this point, you know, like because you got a kill, and you're just gonna be an unkillable Ramacho on the point. Also, really fine to put a bit more of defensive shield position here, because you're gonna touch this point from around like here, you know, so you can put the shield up just for yourself and just buy out time for your next form to come.
Makes sense.
Okay, so let's have a look at your attack.
Spoiler alert, I don't even think we take first point. I don't remember. It might be first point, then not second.
Maybe you do. It looks like at the
timing wise.
Maybe you don't.
That'd be crazy overtime.
Yeah, maybe. Let's have a look. Okay, you're gonna go Reese right here. You were Sigma. So important stuff in the tank trade right here is to either you're gonna have to gold on the rocks, like on his rock timings, and you also have to not get rocked. So either we're gonna either we're gonna dodge the rock or we're gonna gold them. You know?
It's just ironic timing, but yes, you're right.
Yeah, it was very ironic.
I also, for some reason in my head, had it in my mind that the javelin spin would block the rock, which is like.
Yeah, it does not. It does not, unfortunately. So what you can do a lot is you can, well, Sigma especially, you can use your javelin spin to close some distance, and then if you're getting rock pressure, read if the rock is gonna hit you. If you think it's not gonna hit you, you don't have to use gold. If you think it's gonna hit you, just use your gold. Okay, so here we're gonna use gold here to clear some space. It's actually not bad. What I want you to focus on, really important, is to not overheat. Okay, that's what's just gonna happen with time, you know, with experience on the hero. But realistically, it gives you nothing good to overheat. You know, It does nothing good. It's just like a mechanical misplay. If you end up overheating, you're just like out of the fight for a bit. But it happens to everyone. It happens to pro players as well. So don't get too bummed like towards it. But just like something to keep in mind. Then here, okay, you're gonna chill. You gotta pick. Very nice. You're gonna try to look some spear pressure. He's gonna shift it. Oh fuck. That's a bit of a disaster.
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit. So here, what I told you, right? Like your life as tank super important. You just got a pre-fight pick on the Ana, so you have a big advantage. Okay, we have a big advantage. Maybe you can wait till you're a bit more healed, but the most important part is to not die. Okay, in any sort of thing where you can avoid dying now, like tuck into a bit of corner. When you have your gold spin again, you're basically unkillable. So it would have been really nice to not die on this timing. Because if you actually look at this fight, what I like to call it is like always like a loose condition, you know? Loose condition is basically when you're already winning. Your Freya got a pick on the enemy Ana, so that gives you a big advantage, especially on Icon first point, where your respawns are faster than the enemies. So now, once you get that pick on the enemy Ana, all you have to focus on is to not lose. Okay, and losing is basically dying, death.
Right.
Okay,
right.
Death is losing. And how do we avoid not dying? There's a lot of things that we can do to not die in a winning position. So basically, don't get split. Okay, don't, like, how do you die? Splitting. Okay, basically overextending, not walking, like walking before you get your cooldowns back, you know, peaking with less than as close to full HP as possible, you know. Then also being ready for important CD turns, you know, like for example, if you walk up and they still have Ananate, they still have like a junk on a really oppressive angle, like they still have like flanks up. We can clear flanks, really important. We need to watch for the CD turns, like an Ananate, like a Sigma Rock, like all of that stuff, you know. Then also CD turns is also gonna turn to ult turns, you know. Very important to track the ults in the mid fight, right? Like how often has like a barrage killed you, you know, like right. it always happens, like you end up being 2 up in the fight and then there's just a hiding Pharah, you know, in the skybox.
Yeah,
and just finish off, like it's just hiding sneaky and just kills your entire team, you know. So in all of these situations, we need to be aware, what ults do they have to turn the fight, what CDs do they have to turn the fight, do they have any flank setup, are we splitting, is my backline close enough? But the most important part for you is to not die in those situations when you're winning, you know.
Makes sense.
Because right here, I actually think you kept this point if you don't die here. Because you already had a nice advantage, you know. Like if we actually like look at this situation, like realistically.
Oh yeah, when we get the pick.
Like,
yeah.
Like your Freya killed Ana, and your Freya killed Junk, and we killed Kiriko with our DPS side. If you live here, first of all, you're not dead. But if you live here, their Sigma will also not feel confident to walk on your Freya after and zone your backline.
Right, wouldn't have the ability to.
Exactly, and I really feel like you kept this point here. And this soldier would not kill your Ana, you know? All of this good stuff would have happened if you're like alive in these situations. And you're like, yeah, like it's just like I said, you know, you as tank, you're a two value character. Like when you watch pro play, for example, every time there's like a 4v4, but the enemy tank gets traded, that's what we like call tank advantage, you know. The team that has the tank alive in the trade usually wins the trade.
That makes sense.
So here, I actually really like this close corner, okay? Maybe it's a bit scary versus Junk, but I like it because you can punish the Junk in this close corner. This is like one of these jungle flanks, you know? So what I want you to do is just like we said, we're gonna retake the space. So what you have to do is you have to get into some sort of staging position. This position is pretty nice to fish for a kill, you know? If the Junk overextends into this corner, you can really easily spear him, you can finish off the kill with your cooldowns. If you feel like you can't get value out of this corner, we don't want to bot in main, because the main bot trade, first of all, we can't do a difference, okay? If we always win main trade, maybe we're gonna win like 55% of games, you know, if we're better at fucking at just main trading. But otherwise, just take the side angle, you know. Okay, nice. We're gonna chill. Okay, I mean, this is just like we got two people picked. Maybe the left side would have been a better approach, but when sometimes it's your team is gonna make mistakes, right?
Oh sure.
Every team is gonna exactly. Every team is gonna make mistakes, but you need to focus on yourself and not making many mistakes, okay? That's like the important part, because like, for example, you're in an elo where everyone makes a lot of mistakes, right? Even in like GM, even in top 500, even in like champion games, people make a lot of mistakes. So if you think about it, it's like a math equation, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So like, if our Ashe ends a fight, if our Freya ends 2 fights, if our Kiri ends a fight, if our Ana ends 3 fights, if you don't end a single fight, or you only end 1 fight, and their tank ends 4 fights, you're probably winning this game, you know, a lot of the time. So it's a lot about like making plays and avoiding mistakes. Like there's like a greens and reds theory, you know, like green is like a good play, a fight winning play, a nice like flank angle that you take as like a soft flank angle that you take as tank, you take out their backline, you carry the fight, okay? So a lot of good players, they make a lot of plays, but also what happens a lot to good players, they make a lot of mistakes, you know, and that's like a red. So what you have to try to do, what your goal should be, is try to cut down on your reds while keeping a lot of your greens, you know, to stay in this positive equation, you know. So when you turn down your reds, you most likely turn down your greens as well, because you're taking less risks. But we want to try to maybe trade 2 mistakes for 1 good play, you know, and you're always going to be in a positive equation, and it's going to be good. A lot of the time, what like your dopamine receptors in your brain will tell you is, oh, I made a play, I carried. But when you make a fight losing mistake, you don't really care. Do you know what I mean? You're like, you can, it's easy to shrug it off.
Right.
So yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
But you have to realize a fight winning play and a fight losing mistake has the same value, realistically.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna chill here. Okay, nice. We're gonna be healed up. Very important to be healed up. Also fine to take health packs, by the way. Like I saw like in like one word, you're like, oh, I have to take health pack right here. But it's really fine. When the health pack is not like far away from you, it really doesn't matter, you know? Like a lot of the time on my first point attack of Icon, I play the same as you. I take a bit too much damage in main, but what I would do right here is I would just grab this health pack. It's like 3 meters away. Yeah. I would just grab the mega and then come back, you know? Like I really don't like. I always complain about supports, okay? Like if you watch my stream, I will always flame my supports, okay? I'm literally the same as you. But but like I said, you want your supports to not have to heal you as much. So sure. And you want them to always pull through when they actually have to heal you. But in these situations, they don't really have to heal you, you know?
Right.
Okay, so now for example, you can really shut down this junk. Like you can he's really isolated. Feel confident. Yeah, he's isolated. You can use your spin to close distance. You can use your gold to then block the rock and to connect on this junk, and you can hit a spear and kill him. You know, you can really like, you can spin through the choke, avoid damage. If you hear the rock, if you see the rock, you press gold and you just keep running this junk. Just keep running him down and press a spear on him and confirm the elim. You see, this is good, you know? This is what we were like talking about, like side angle control. Maybe like getting the junk would have been higher value, but that was a good try, you know? Really, sure. Really. Okay. You're getting nanoed. This Sigma, you can spin him in, should be a kill, even if he flags. Ah, he gets nanoed, so tough. Good, really good Terror Surge. But again, you need to know when you're on risk of dying, you know? So here, again, just like chill a tiny bit. Chill tiny bit behind the corner
rather than going around.
Yeah. Try to dodge the rock, because here you would have been again in like an advantage position, you know? Because your Mercy, like you're gonna kill this Kiriko soldier under a lot of pressure. Instead of trying to chase for the kill, if you live here and your Mercy resting your Ash, you're up 1.
Yep.
And you're actually winning. Okay, we're gonna walk it up again. We're chilling. We dodge the rock. You see, this is what we want to do. We're gonna spin. We dodge the rock. Really good check onto soldier. Maybe a bit too much of a peak, but I don't hate this. You know, like at this like stage of the game, if you're like losing, some people like their mental goes down. You know, like I really feel like you could have been like cared through this situation and really okay to like swing for this guy. I don't hate it.
Finally got the gold into the rock situation there. It only took like 8 times, but we got there.
Yes, and then we didn't see the trap, but I also always run into traps. There's a lot of good junk players in high elo.
In them somewhere.
I swear they have.
They have a magnet. It's there.
I mean, they literally have a magnet. There's nothing you can do. Okay. Now we're gonna get a kill. This junk flank is gonna get so much value. Sometimes you can take patience on your spears, okay? Like you don't have to hit the spear right now. Do you know what I mean? You can wait for this guy to like make a movement. If you read, it's like so minor. It's like it doesn't really matter. But sometimes you can have some patience. So here I think your biggest issue, you're gonna run on Ana, but your biggest issue is that you're not tracking the heroes. So here, you don't see that junk the entire fight. You're using Tire. You see 3 players, right? You don't see junk. If you follow the kill feed, the junk kills your Ana. And now, this junk, he's here, you know? You should, it's your job to clear this guy and to potentially get a kill on him, you know? I mean, maybe it's fine what you're doing. You have to touch.
We're getting close, but still.
You have to touch at some point. But it's like something to keep in mind. Okay, you see how easy it is to kill squishy heroes when they actually run onto you, or when you like close the distance on them. You know what I mean? This is what you need to focus on. Okay, so now we're gonna get a summary going. Okay, my chat was flaming me the entire time that you're not gonna get any value out of this because I'm explaining too high level concepts, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Fuck my chat. I'm gonna ban all of them. Fucking annoying people in my chat. Okay, but whatever. I'm gonna give you a good...
voices are winning, Hadi. Your inner voices.
I mean, I'm gonna ban this guy. It was just one guy perma-chatting. I'm just gonna perma-ban him and move on with my life, you know?
Exactly. So, that's what you gotta do sometimes.
Exactly. So the nodes that I want you to focus on basically is I want you to get more elims. Okay, I want you to get more kills onto squishy characters. I want you to try to ignore the enemy tank unless there's a kill on him. Okay, I don't want you to try to main trade too much, you know. So I want you to find elims on squishy heroes. I really want you to recognize that you're playing a server admin role. Okay, you're playing a server admin role that can push every 1v1. When you're in a good situation for the 1v1, you can push any and every 1v1. Okay, so that's what I want you to focus on. Elims on squishies. Then I want you to focus on try to play your backline LOS. So check your backline and play backline LOS. Play backline LOS. Check backline. And then I want you to be mindful of your poke. So in turn, be a bit more sneaky and be a bit more like play close corners, sneaky, close corners, and that's gonna help you to find elims. Okay. Close corners. And then I want you as well, especially for the pre-fight, because in the mid-fight it's gonna be less reliable, but I want you in the pre-fight to try to preserve more of your HP. Okay, so HP is more important than CDs. CDs are very important, but HP is really important. And I want you to try to cross. I actually think you're doing it fine, but I want you to try to cross important chokes / engage with as close as full HP as possible. You know, for example, when you were like crossing that first choke after you got that pre-fight elim from your Freya, what you could have done, it's really okay to wait for 2 seconds till you're not in a risk anymore. You know, those 2 seconds it's not gonna punish you. Do you know what I mean? You can just wait those 2 seconds, get to full HP, and then make your move with less risk. Okay. When I tell you to play close corners, it's basically to play a bit more assassin style, to actually get kills on backliners, actually confirm these elims, but also to take less poke damage. Then I also want you to focus on, maybe it's a lot, but I also want you to focus on like less main trade / tank shooting, less main trade, tank shooting. You can still shoot a tank if there's nothing to do, right? Like pressure is always good.
Nothing, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Pressure is always good, but when there's nothing else to do, even when you're like playing Orisa in main, right? It's better. Like when you let's say you're defending, let's say you're even attacking as Orisa in main, it's still better to try to find shots onto squishy targets. Do you know what I mean? Because if you shoot the tank, you're getting like 200 HP on the tank, but if you shoot in the backline, first of all, you have actually a chance to get an elim, but you're also, if you're shooting the Ana, if you're spearing the Ana, almost killing her, you're basically getting more damage on their tank by shooting the backline. You know, because they're gonna be healed less and all of that stuff. So yeah, let's main trade tank shooting and think about those like side lanes that we talked about. You know, to not play main, and also think about these like close jungle flanks, you know, what we talked at, like soft flanks. What you don't want to do as tank is you don't want a hard flank, you don't want to be out of the fight for too long, but you want to look for these like engages where you can be sneaky, you know, like I said, like here on your first defense when you are playing D.Va, you can go around here, you know, get a kill. When you were here, you can go around here, get a kill, but you're not flanking. Do you know what I mean? Like if the fight is like happening towards this side of the map, I don't want you to waste your time and use 2 boosters to go around this side. You know, like that's gonna be bad because you're flanking. So I want you to find those like soft jungle flank, those like side lanes fight without like a hard flank. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
All right. Do you have any questions?
No, I think this was really helpful. Definitely revealed a lot of the stuff that I was doing wrong. Like I said, I mean, obviously you've put all the summary out there, but the big thing that I'm taking away from this is setting up and looking for opportunities. And
Yes,
like setting
the
up
main-
for and then actually capitalizing on them is the big thing.
Really, the main thing is that you actually have to realize that you're playing a killing machine. Okay, like you're actually playing a tank role. You can kill every squishy you want to kill. Okay, so that's really important. Like if I was like playing in plat, I would like kill everyone every fight. Like, you know, just because I know how to maneuver around the map, because I know like when I have to go, how I hit my shots. Not even the most important part, hitting your shots, just like how to, like when to take a timing, when to go around, when a kill opportunity presents itself, you know. So I really want you to like understand that it's just about getting elims a lot of the time, you know. Don't care too much about your team, really. Like, you know, in like lower elo, a lot of teams will like, tank, what are you doing? You're flanking. You're not getting value. We need a shield. We need a shield. You don't need a shield, okay?
No,
all you have to do is to get the elims on the squishies. You will get so much less pressure, you know.
Yeah, if they're dead, it doesn't matter if you have a shield or not.
Exactly. Who cares if they're dead? You know, if you're putting onto pressure, like tank is not like. What you want to do is you want to, as tank, when you want to help your team, is to cross chokes. Do you know what I mean? That's where you actually need to help them. When you're walking out of a hard choke, like for example, the icon second, you know, like the doors there. When you're walking out of there, your team might need you to help you to get out of the choke. Sometimes you can apply backline pressure to still do that, but sometimes they will need you to apply, like, to get out. Use your defensive CDs, use your shield. But yeah, it's really just important for like choke or when you have to peel. But listen. When you have to peel is only when peeling will get you an elim, okay? Peeling back is like most of the time on a tank or like on a Genji, you know? But you should only peel when you think it's gonna end up in an elim. Do you know what I mean?
Right, rather
like,
than saving your team, it needs to be the focus on killing
exactly.
the one
Exactly, it needs to be a double trouble, you know. You can save your team and get an elim. That's when you want to peel. But if you're just peeling to help your teammate, what will happen is that you are wasting your 2 character worth and you're going backwards. And then we have the situations where if we're not getting a kill either side, we're losing the space, you know. 5 versus 5.
Makes sense.
So yeah, that's basically it. I want you to focus to try to get more elims in general. I think preserving, like, I think the top 3 points in like order is get more elims. And how you get more elims is be more sneaky, close corners, really value when your poke is not important. You know, just like having low attention on you is more important than getting poke, and then preserving your HP. Basically, this number 2 and number 3 also funnels into getting more elims. You know, like this is the most important one for sure.
Got it. Yeah, that all makes sense to me. I appreciate the help, man, for real. Oh, that's a big minefield. Man.